Finally, we'll talk about some different speaking activity mechanics that describes in her book. In teacher student exchange, a teacher will ask questions or make requests to a whole class setting, which is a very common method of teaching. But as writes, there is usually, except in the case of extended performances, a high proportion of teacher talk, hence relatively little language production by the learners. So teacher student exchange can be good for a basic introduction or very brief tidbits of checking answers, but maybe not a mechanic to rely on too often. The converse of that would be a student teacher exchange. This is a kind of reverse ping pong where students will initiate the exchange. They will ask questions to the teacher instead of perhaps the other way around. Another concept that we've actually practiced in the past is the chain. In a chain, this allows students to build upon each other's answers. So rather than using the teacher as a conduit of communication, students are able to run the communication through each other. For example, what do you like doing in your free time, Gichan? I like dancing. What do you like to do in your free time, Jihyun? I like to play tennis. What do you like to do in your free time, Sehyun? And so on. Rather than the teacher asking and the teacher receiving an answer, the teacher asking another person, the chain runs through the students themselves. Fluid pairs. This is a method in which students will do a brief exchange with one partner and then immediately switch to another partner. Some people like to do this mechanic in an activity called circle pairs, in which there are two circles, one in the middle and one on the outside. And the students in the middle, after a very brief language exchange, will rotate one person to the right, almost like the concept of speed dating, but in a language classroom. This will allow different students to practice the language with many different people and will lead to a lot of varied interaction pattern and student-centered activities. And finally, semi-controlled small group transactions. This serves as what calls the kind of skeleton of a dialogue. So small groups might sit together and they might have a question, but rather than just having some kind of free talking exchange in which students might feel intimidated or where one student might dominate the discussion, semi-controlled is just like that. It's controlled. As says, the language to be produced by students is semi-controlled. That is to say, they are told to make use of certain patterns or kinds of sentences, but the exact content is left up to them. So this can be done in examples of sentence stems, or perhaps something that says dot 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 that students can supply their own content, but the teacher is able to supply the target grammar structures. Okay, that's all I have for today. Hopefully this didn't take too long, but I appreciate your consistent effort and attention, and I look forward to seeing you in class next time. Until then, cheers.